Hello everyone and welcome back to Next Door. In our last episode, Ty demanded answers in the safe house, throwing a tantrum and becoming extremely unmanageable. The FBI tried calming him, but they couldn't fully explain their role without risking identities and the ongoing mission. They were also uncertain whether Ty's memory had truly been erased or if he might be pretending to work with Nathan. A heated debate broke out between Lou and Agents Walsh and Chen, who claimed Ty was an innocent victim, versus other FBI officers who thought he might be working with Nathan and needed interrogation. Ty watched the argument with complete confusion, thinking these people must be criminals who kidnapped him. While the officers argued, Ty saw his opportunity. He moved toward the door while they were distracted. Lou spotted him and shouted a warning, running toward him, but Ty had already unlocked the door and gotten it open. The episode ended with Lou reaching desperately for Ty as he escaped through the doorway into the Montana wilderness, running from the people he believed were his kidnappers. If you've been devastated by this impossible situation, please hit that like button and subscribe. Today's episode continues that desperate chase. Lou is terrified of losing Ty, not just physically losing him in the Montana landscape, but losing any chance of helping him recover his memories and return to his family. If Ty escapes and tells the wrong people what happened, the entire FBI investigation could be exposed. Nathan would know they have Ty. The council would know their operations are compromised. Everything could collapse. But more importantly to Lou, Ty would remain lost, stuck between the false identity Nathan created and the real identity he can't remember. This is episode 57, and Lou Fleming runs toward Ty in hope of finding him and bringing him back. Elkridge safe house. Lou burst through the safe house doorway, her eyes scanning desperately for Ty. She could see him about 50 yards away, running hard toward a cluster of buildings in the distance. They looked like abandoned storage structures or old ranch outbuildings. Her heart pounded so hard she could feel it in her throat. This was it. If she lost Ty now, everything was over. All the months of investigation, all the risk of going undercover, all the carefully coordinated FBI operations, all of it wasted because Ty was too traumatized to understand he was being rescued. Ty, stop please. But Ty didn't stop, didn't even look back. He just kept running, his body pumping with adrenaline and fear. Behind Lou, she heard the FBI agents emerging from the safe house. Agent Morrison shouting orders, Agent Walsh calling for the surveillance team, Agent Chen coordinating with local law enforcement. Everyone scrambling to deal with the crisis of a confused, terrified civilian running from federal custody. But Lou wasn't waiting for coordination, backup, or proper protocol. She was running after Ty with every ounce of speed she could muster. He had a head start, but she was motivated by desperate love for her sister's family. She would not lose him. Her lungs burned as she sprinted across the open ground. Ty was fast, but she could see he was slowing down. The initial burst of panicked energy wearing off, exhaustion from the chloroform earlier still affecting him. Lou pushed harder, closing the distance between them. 40 yards, 30 yards, 20. Tears streamed down her face as she ran. Tears of fear, frustration, and overwhelming emotion. They'd managed to extract Ty from the council's custody, had risked everything to get him away from Silver Creek Ranch, away from Nathan, away from the criminals who'd held him prisoner for years. And now, because of one careless moment of the FBI agents arguing instead of watching him, Ty was running away from his only chance at recovering his real life. Ty, I'm not going to hurt you. Just listen to me. Ty reached the first of the old buildings, a weathered storage shed with peeling paint and boarded windows. He disappeared around the corner, and Lou's heart sank. If he found a place to hide in these buildings, if he managed to lose her in the maze of old structures, it could take hours to find him again. Hours during which Nathan could be searching for him too. Hours during which Ty could make it to a road and flag down a vehicle. Hours during which everything could go catastrophically wrong. Lou rounded the corner where Ty had disappeared and saw him about 20 feet ahead, leaning against the building's wall, gasping for breath. He'd run hard, but his body couldn't sustain it. The months of ranch work had kept him fit, but not prepared for this kind of desperate sprint. This was her chance, maybe her only chance. Lou slowed her approach, not wanting to startle him into running again. She was breathing hard too, her own lungs burning from the sprint. "Stay away from me. Don't come any closer." His voice was thick from exertion and fear. Lou could see his body tensing, preparing to run again despite his exhaustion if she got too close. "I'm not going to hurt you. I promise. I just want to talk. You kidnapped me. You drugged me. You're not the good guys. No matter what lies you tell." He pushed off from the wall, preparing to run further into the cluster of buildings. Lou knew if he got away now, she'd never catch him again. This was it. She had seconds to say something that would make him stop, make him listen, make him understand, and suddenly, she knew what to say. Not the full truth. Agent Morrison was right. Overwhelming Ty with too much information would traumatize him further, but maybe just enough truth. Just enough to plant doubt about the story he'd accepted about himself. "I'm here to help you with your missing memory." The words came out louder than she'd intended, almost a shout. Ty froze mid-step, his body going completely still. He turned slowly to face her, his expression showing shock and confusion. What? What did you say?" "Your missing memory. The fact that you can't remember anything before 6 months ago. I know about it. And I know it's not what you think it is." Ty stared at her, his chest still heaving from exertion, but his attention completely captured now. Lou could see his mind working, processing what she just said. Lou moved slowly toward him, careful not to make any sudden movements that might spook him into running again. "I know who you really are, and I know what happened to you, but you need to calm down and listen to me. Can you do that?" Ty's eyes flicked past Lou toward the safe house in the distance, where the FBI agents were probably organizing a search party. Then back to Lou, clearly trying to decide if he could trust her even slightly. "Those people back there, they kidnapped me. They drugged me. They told me insane stories about false identities and criminal organizations. Why should I trust anything you say? Because I'm not going to lie to you. And because deep down, don't you have questions about your amnesia? Questions the doctors couldn't answer? Questions you've been ignoring because it was easier to accept a simple explanation?" The words hit something in Ty. Lou could see it in his face. A flicker of recognition, of acknowledgement that, yes, he did have questions he'd been avoiding. The doctor said it was head trauma, an accident that damaged my memory centers. That's a medical explanation. That's science, is it? Or is that just what someone told you and you accepted it because you had no other framework for understanding what happened? Ty opened his mouth to argue, then closed it again. Lou could see him struggling with something internal. "Come with me. Just a few minutes. Let me ask you some questions away from all those people. And if you still want to run after that, I won't stop you." It was a risk, promising she wouldn't stop him if he wanted to leave. But Lou knew if she tried to force Ty to stay, if she physically restrained him or called the FBI agents to help capture him, she'd lose any chance of reaching him. He'd shut down completely, convinced that everyone was his enemy. "Why should I go anywhere with you? You're with those people. You're part of whatever this kidnapping scheme is. I'm trying to protect you from people who've been lying to you, from people who don't want you to remember your real life. And Ty, if we stay out here in the open, those people might find you. People who are far more dangerous than me or the agents in that house." Ty glanced around nervously, clearly affected by the suggestion that other threats might be nearby. "What people? What are you talking about?" "The people who did this to you, who erased your memory, who turned you into someone named Noah Smith. They're looking for you right now. And if they find you before we can help you understand what happened, you're in real danger." It was true. Though Lou was bending the timeline slightly, Nathan was definitely looking for Ty, searching desperately for where he had disappeared to. But Nathan probably didn't know yet that the FBI had him, didn't know Ty had been brought to Elkridge. Still, the threat was real enough. Lou needed Ty to understand that. I don't understand what's happening. None of this makes sense." "I know. And I'm going to help you make sense of it. But we need to move. We need to get out of sight. There are abandoned buildings here. We can talk where no one can see us. Just you and me. Just questions and answers." Ty looked at Lou for a long moment, clearly trying to decide if he could trust her at all. Finally, He nodded slowly. 5 minutes. You get 5 minutes to explain what's going on. And if I don't believe you, I'm leaving. That's fair. Come on. Lou moved toward one of the larger abandoned buildings. It looked like it had been a warehouse or a storage facility at some point. The door was partially open, hanging on rusted hinges. Lou checked inside quickly to make sure it was empty and reasonably safe. The interior was dim, lit only by sunlight coming through cracks in the walls and boarded windows. Old equipment and debris littered the floor, but there was enough open space to stand and talk. She gestured for Ty to enter. He hesitated at the threshold, clearly nervous about going into an enclosed space with someone he didn't trust. But finally, he stepped inside, positioning himself near the door where he could run if needed. Thank you for giving me a chance to explain. You have 5 minutes. Start talking. Lou took a breath, organizing her thoughts. She had to be so careful here. She couldn't tell him about the whole FBI operation or Agent Morrison would kill her. She couldn't overwhelm him with information about Amy and Lindy. Telling him too much about a family he didn't remember would be cruel. She couldn't directly explain the memory eraser. It might trigger psychological reactions that would make things worse. She had to plant seeds, get Ty thinking critically about the narrative he'd accepted about his amnesia without pushing so hard that he shut down completely. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to really think about the answers. Not just tell me what you've been told. Really think about what you actually know versus what you've assumed. Can you do that? I can try, but I'm not promising anything. That's all I'm asking. First question. Why can't you remember anything before 6 months ago? I already told you. The doctor said it was head trauma from an accident. Damage to the memory centers of my brain. It's a medical condition. But do you actually remember this accident? Do you have any memory of being in a hospital? Of doctors examining you? Of the moment when you realized you'd lost your memories? Ty opened his mouth to answer, then paused. Lou could see him trying to access those memories, reaching for them in his mind. The first thing I remember is waking up in a hospital room. A doctor was there telling me I'd been in an accident, that I'd suffered memory loss, that I might never recover my memories. What hospital? What city? What was the doctor's name? I don't remember those details. It was 6 months ago. People forget details from months in the past. But Ty, those aren't just details. Those are foundational facts about a major trauma in your life. You woke up with no memory of who you were, where you came from, what your life had been. That's terrifying and dramatic. Most people would remember every detail of that experience because it would be so significant. Ty looked uncomfortable, shifting his weight from one foot to the other. Maybe I have some memory problems beyond just the amnesia. Maybe the head trauma affected my ability to form new memories too. Did the doctors tell you that? Did they explain that your injury affected both old memories and your ability to form new ones? No, they just said I had amnesia. Retrograde amnesia specifically. That's the kind where you lose past memories but can still form new ones. So, by your own explanation, you should remember the hospital, the doctors, the moment of realization, but you don't. Doesn't that seem strange to you? Ty was quiet, clearly struggling with the questions Lou was raising. She could see him trying to reach for those memories and coming up empty, just like he had when he tried to remember anything before waking up in the hospital. Here's another question. In the 6 months since you recovered from this amnesia, have you tried to find out who you were before? Have you searched for your identity, looked for missing person reports, tried to figure out where you came from? The doctors said not to push it, that my memories might return naturally over time. But forcing it could cause psychological damage, so you just accepted having no past. No family looking for you. No job, no home, no history. You just started over as Noah Smith without questioning any of it. What else was I supposed to do? I had no memories, no identification. The people at Silver Creek Ranch gave me a job, gave me a place to live, gave me a new start. I was grateful. And didn't it seem convenient that you woke up with no memory and immediately found a ranch that would hire you with no background check? No references, no questions about who you were or where you came from. Ty's face showed he never thought about it that way. Lou could see the doubt beginning to form. The questions he'd never allowed himself to ask starting to surface. They were kind to me. They saw I was good with horses and gave me a chance. That's not suspicious. That's just good people helping someone down on their luck. Or it's people who knew exactly who you were, who deliberately put you in that situation, who were controlling every aspect of your new life while making you think you were free. That's insane. Why would anyone do that? That's what I'm trying to help you understand. But Ty, you need to be honest with yourself. Have you ever felt like something was wrong? Like your life at the ranch didn't quite fit? Like there were pieces missing beyond just your memories? Ty turned away from Lou, facing the wall, his shoulders tense. When he spoke, his voice was quieter, more vulnerable. Sometimes I have dreams. Fragments of things that feel like memories but don't make sense. A woman's face, a child laughing, a ranch that's not Silver Creek. But the doctor said those were probably just my brain trying to fill in the blanks, creating false memories to compensate for the real ones I lost. Lou's heart broke hearing Ty describe dreams of Amy and Lindy, his subconscious trying to hold on to the family he'd been forced to forget. What if those aren't false memories? What if they're real memories trying to break through whatever was done to you? Done to me? You're talking like someone deliberately erased my memory. That's not possible. That's science fiction, is it, Ty? People can be brainwashed. They can be psychologically conditioned to forget things, to believe false narratives, to accept identities that aren't real. It requires time and expertise, but it's absolutely possible. Ty turned back to face Lou, his expression showing both fear and dawning understanding. You're saying someone brainwashed me? That Noah Smith isn't real? That my entire life for the past 6 months is manufactured? I'm saying your amnesia isn't natural. It's not from an accident. Someone did this to you deliberately. And the reason those people back in that house, the ones who you think kidnapped you, the reason they're so desperate to help you is because they're trying to undo what was done to you. If what you're saying is true, if someone really did erase my memory, then who was I before? Who am I supposed to be? Lou wanted so badly to tell him, to say you're Ty Borden. You have a wife named Amy and a daughter named Lindy. You're from Heartland Ranch in Hudson, Alberta. But Agent Morrison's warning echoed in her mind. Giving Ty too much information too fast could be psychologically damaging. It could cause him to shut down or reject everything. That's what we're trying to help you figure out. But we can't do it if you run. We can't help you recover your real identity if you disappear back to the people who erased it in the first place. The people at Silver Creek Ranch. They're criminals. They're the ones who did this to me. Not all of them. Most of the people at that ranch probably have no idea what's really happening there. But the people running it, the ones who hired you, the ones who've been controlling your life, yes. They're part of an organization that does terrible things. And you were caught up in it. Ty sank down to sit on an old crate, his head in his hands. Lou could see him trembling slightly, from exhaustion, from fear, from the overwhelming nature of what he was learning. I don't know what to believe. Part of me thinks you're insane, that this is all some elaborate delusion or scam, but another part of me. He trailed off. Lou waited, giving him space to process. Another part of me has always known something was wrong. That my amnesia story was too convenient. That waking up with no past and immediately finding a perfect job at a ranch where I happened to be naturally gifted with horses, that was too much coincidence. It was too much coincidence. But I ignored those doubts because acknowledging them was terrifying. I know it's terrifying. I know this is overwhelming. But Ty, the truth is less scary than living a lie. The truth gives you choices. Gives you control over your own life. Right now, you're living someone else's story. Don't you want to know your own? Ty looked up at Lou, tears forming in his eyes. If what you're saying is true, if my memory was deliberately erased, then everything I think I know about myself is a lie. Noah Smith isn't real. This person I've been for 6 months doesn't exist. I don't even know who I am. Lou moved closer, crouching down so she was at eye level with Ty. You're someone worth remembering. Someone who people love very much. Someone who had a life that matters. And I'm going to help you find that person again. But you have to trust me. I don't know you. I don't even know your name. How can I trust you? My name is Lou, and I know you because I know the person you used to be. The person you're going to be again once we help you recover your memories, Lou. Okay, Lou. So if I go back to that house with those federal agents, what happens? They're going to interrogate me, question me, treat me like a criminal? No, they're going to help you. Take you to specialists who deal with memory recovery, help you understand what was done to you and how to undo it. It won't be fast or easy, but it's your only chance at getting your real life back. Ty was quiet for a long moment, clearly weighing his options. Run and stay Noah Smith forever, living a false life, but a familiar one. Or go back and risk discovering truths that might be painful, that might change everything. Finally, he spoke quietly. The dreams I have, the woman and the child, are they real? Are they people from my past? Lou felt tears forming but forced them back. Yes, they're real, and they miss you very much. Do they know I'm alive? Or do they think I died in whatever happened to me? They think you died. They've been mourning you. But Ty, finding out you're alive is going to be complicated for them because you don't remember them. You don't remember loving them. That's going to be painful for everyone. So even if I recover my memories, even if I learn who I really am, there's no guarantee of a happy ending. I might get my past back, but lose the present I've built. That's true. But at least it would be your choice. Your life. Not something someone else constructed for you. Ty stood up slowly, looking exhausted both physically and emotionally. If I go back with you, if I try to trust these federal agents, I need you to promise me something. What? Promise me you'll tell me the truth. Even when it's painful, even when it's complicated. No more lies. No more manipulation. Just truth. I promise. As much truth as I can give you, as fast as you can handle it. I'll tell you. Okay, I'll go back. But Lou, if at any point this feels wrong, if I start thinking this is all some elaborate scheme, I'm leaving and nothing you say will stop me. That's fair. You're allowed to have doubts and questions. You're allowed to be scared. This is your choice. They started walking back toward the safe house. Lou could see FBI agents in the distance, probably searching for them. She pulled out her phone and called Agent Morrison. Morrison, I have Ty. We're coming back. Tell everyone to back off and give us space. He's agreed to return, but he's extremely fragile right now. Lou, where have you been? We've been searching. Just do what I'm asking. Clear space. Let me bring him back without a crowd of agents overwhelming him. She ended the call before Agent Morrison could argue. Ty walked beside her, silent and contemplative, his mind clearly processing everything Lou had told him. As they approached a safe house, Ty stopped suddenly. Lou, the woman and child in my dreams. Who are they? Lou knew she couldn't answer that question. Not yet. Not without Agent Morrison's approval and guidance from memory recovery specialists. People who love you. People who've been waiting for you. That's all I can say right now, because telling me more would be psychologically damaging, because I want specialists there. When you learn the details, people who can help you process what it means. But Ty, I promise you'll know soon. You'll know everything. The episode ended on Ty's face as they walked toward the safe house together. His expression showed a complex mixture of fear, confusion, hope, and determination. He'd been running from what he thought were kidnappers. But Lou's words had stopped him in his tracks, made him question everything he'd accepted about his amnesia, planted seeds of doubt about Noah Smith, and opened the door to discovering Ty Borden. Behind them, the abandoned building where Lou had asked the questions that changed everything. Questions Ty had been avoiding for 6 months because asking them meant facing terrifying truths. But now he was ready to face those truths. Ready to stop running from his rescuers. Ready to start the long, painful journey of recovering a life he couldn't remember. In the distance, the safe house waited with FBI agents who would help him begin that journey. But first, Ty walked back through the door he'd so desperately escaped through. He had to choose to stay instead of run. He had to trust that the people he'd feared were actually the ones trying to save him. Lou walked beside him, her heart full of gratitude that she'd caught him in time, that the right words had stopped him from disappearing, that Ty was giving them a chance to help him. But she also carried the burden of knowing how much harder this would get, how painful it would be when Ty learned about Amy and Lindy, how complicated recovery would be, how long the road ahead stretched. The chase was over. Lou had caught Ty. Her words had stopped him, but the real work was only beginning. And no one knew if Ty Borden could be recovered from the ashes of Noah Smith, or if the man walking beside Lou was already too far gone to ever truly come back. That concludes today's episode. Lou chased Ty after his escape, terrified of losing him. She caught him near an abandoned building where he'd stopped to catch his breath. When Ty was about to run again, Lou shouted, "I'm here to help with your missing memory." Those words stopped Ty completely. Lou pulled him behind a building to hide from potential Nathan's man. Ty demanded an explanation, but Lou couldn't reveal FBI involvement or directly explain the memory eraser. Instead, Lou asked strategic questions. Why can't you remember anything before 6 months ago? Have you thought deeply about what happened then? Ty began questioning his accepted amnesia narrative, realizing he had no memory of the supposed hospital or accident. Lou carefully planted doubts about his convenient life at Silver Creek Ranch. Ty admitted having dreams of a woman and child, but thought they were false memories. Lou revealed they were real people who loved him. The episode ended with Ty agreeing to return to the safe house, ready to face painful truths about his identity. Join us next time as Ty begins the journey to recover his memories. If this episode gave you hope, please like and subscribe. Until next time, this is